I never thought a vacation in tropical paradise could turn into a personal hell. It all started 2 weeks ago when my wife Lisa stunned me with news at breakfast. "Honey, I booked us a hotel in the Florida Keys." She was spreading peanut butter on toast, avoiding eye contact. That was the first warning sign. "And I invited Mom to come with us." I choked on my coffee. "Your mom? Myra? She just divorced Robert. She needs to unwind." Lisa finally looked up at me. "Please, Josh, she's all alone." I put down the unfinished newspaper. My mother-in-law was the last person I wanted to spend vacation with. Myra was a complicated woman. At 45, she looked no more than 35, practiced yoga, and constantly traveled. Since our first meeting, she never missed a chance to point out my flaws. "Remember Thanksgiving?" I tried to object. She spent 2 hours telling me how I was carving the turkey wrong. "That was 3 years ago, Josh. She's changed since the divorce. She's softer." I sighed. Arguing with Lisa is pointless when it comes to her mother. "Fine, but only 2 weeks." "Thank you, honey." Lisa pecked my cheek, leaving a lipstick mark. "You won't regret it." How wrong I was to agree to this trip. Myra appeared at the airport in tight jeans and a silk blouse, with a new haircut and a mysterious smile. "Josh, darling," she air-kissed near my cheek. "Gained a couple of pounds? It doesn't suit you." "Mom!" Lisa protested. "What? I care about his health." The 3-hour flight turned into torture. Myra sat across the aisle and constantly commented on my choice of movies, food, and even how I reclined my seat. "You know, Josh," she loudly whispered while Lisa was dozing, "a real man doesn't watch romantic comedies. It's a thriller, Myra. With Ryan Gosling? Don't fool yourself." At the hotel, another surprise awaited us. "I'm sorry," the administrator smiled sweetly, "but we're overbooked. We can offer you 2 rooms with ocean views instead of 1 suite." "Perfect." Myra perked up. "I'll take the room on the right. I'm a sensitive sleeper." The first days felt like dancing in a minefield. Myra appeared at the most inappropriate moments, when Lisa and I were kissing by the pool, when I tried to order room service, even when I was meditating on the beach. "Wrong pose." She settled down next to me on the sand. "Want me to show you how?" "Thanks, I'll manage." "Stubborn. Just like your father." She shook her head. "Lisa could have found someone more agreeable." I gritted my teeth. 12 more days. I can handle this." But something changed after we ran into each other at the pool on the 5th evening. I was swimming alone, trying to release tension. Myra appeared in a black one-piece swimsuit that accentuated her figure. "Care for company?" She gracefully slid into the water. In the setting sun's rays, her skin looked golden. "Actually, I was just finishing." "Afraid of me, Josh?" Something unfamiliar appeared in her voice. Something like flirtation? "No, just tired." "Shame. I was just about to apologize for my behavior. Maybe dinner together tonight? My treat?" Sleep wouldn't come that night. I tossed and turned, listening to Lisa's steady breathing. The surf rumbled outside, beckoning with its coolness. Around midnight I couldn't take it anymore and went out to the balcony. The full moon bathed the beach in silvery light. And then I saw her. Myra was slowly entering the water, completely naked. The warm sand burned my feet as I walked down to the water. Each step was difficult, as if in a dream. Somewhere in the distance, a nightbird called. Muted music played from the hotel bars, but here, at the water's edge, there was only the sound of surf and moonlight's silver glow. Myra was swimming not far from shore. Her body in the moonlight looked like a sculpture of white marble. She didn't try to cover herself or dive deeper when I approached. "I knew you would come." Her voice sounded different than during the day. Softer, deeper. "You feel it too, don't you?" "Feel what?" I stopped at the water's edge, fighting the urge to turn and run. "This electricity between us. This chemistry." Myra slowly approached. "I see how you look at me when you think no one notices." "You're wrong." My voice trembled. "I love Lisa. Love and attraction are different things, Josh." She extended her hand, inviting me into the water. Sometimes you need to let go of control. Allow yourself to feel the moment. The water was warmer than the air. I took several steps until it reached my waist. "Stay there," Myra whispered. "Close your eyes." I obeyed. A second later, I felt her presence. She swam circles around me, occasionally brushing against my skin. "You know what I realized after the divorce?" Her voice came from right, then left. "Life is too short for regrets, for what-ifs, for unfulfilled fantasies. Myra, please?" I didn't know what I was asking for. "Shh." Her fingers touched my lips. "Don't think. Feel." The waves rocked us, blurring the boundaries of reality. Stars reflected in the water, creating the illusion we were swimming in space. Myra pressed against me, her skin hot despite the cool water. "I've always envied Lisa," she whispered into my neck. "You take care of her in a way no one has ever taken care of me. Robert was selfish. All the men in my life were selfish." "Don't—" I tried to pull away, but she wrapped her arms around my neck. "I must." Her lips were a millimeter from mine. "Just once in my life, I want to feel desired. Alive." The kiss was inevitable, like the tide. Her lips were salty from seawater. Myra's hands glided over my back, caressing and pulling closer. That night, the ocean witnessed our passion. Under the whisper of surf and twinkling stars, we dissolved in this moment, forgetting everything in the world. The waves caressed us while we indulged in the sweetest sin. The moon hid behind clouds, as if unwilling to witness our fall. The breeze strengthened, bringing the scent of tropical flowers and salt. Myra trembled in my arms, her whispers mixing with the sound of surf. "Tell me you'll regret this tomorrow," she whispered later as we lay on the damp sand. "Tell me this is a mistake." "Isn't it?" I stared at the starry sky, unable to look her in the eyes. "No." She propped herself up on her elbow. "This is fate, Josh. We were meant to meet like this. Right now." "You're talking like a madwoman." "And you're acting like a coward." She stood up abruptly. "At least admit to yourself, you wanted this since the first day of our vacation." I remained silent. What could I say? That she was right? That from the moment I saw her at the airport, I couldn't stop thinking about her? That each of her barbs, each glance aroused me more and more? "See you at breakfast." Myra leaned down and gently kissed my forehead. "Don't forget to shower. You smell like me." She left, leaving me alone with the sound of surf and the weight of what we'd done. Somewhere in the hotel, my wife slept, unaware that her world had just collapsed. I got up and trudged back to the hotel. Ahead lay a sleepless night and an eternity of guilt. Morning greeted me with a headache and nauseating guilt. Lisa was still asleep, curled up on her side of the bed. I looked at her peaceful face and hated myself for every second of the past night. "You're up early," she mumbled, stretching. "Didn't sleep well?" "Yeah, the heat." I turned away so she wouldn't see my face. "I'll go take a shower." In the bathroom, I stood under hot water for almost an hour, trying to wash away the smell of sea salt and memories of Myra's touches. When I finally emerged, Lisa was already getting ready for breakfast. "Mom texted she's waiting for us in the restaurant." She was applying lipstick, looking in the mirror. "Can you believe she couldn't sleep half the night either? Says the moon was special or something." I nearly dropped my comb. "Really?" "Yeah, went for a night swim. Says the water was divine." Breakfast turned into an exquisite torture. Myra sat across from us, impeccable in a white linen dress. She acted as if nothing had happened, discussing daily plans with Lisa. "Darling, I booked a massage at the spa." She was spreading jam on toast with surgical precision. "Want to join?" "Actually, Josh and I were planning to go snorkeling." "Oh, don't be silly. He gets seasick, you know that." "Right, Josh?" Our eyes met over coffee cups. There was a challenge in her gaze. "Yeah, probably not the best idea," I mumbled. "Go to the spa, I'll read by the pool." "Honey, you look pale." Lisa touched my forehead. "Maybe you got too much sun yesterday." "Maybe?" I pushed away my plate with untouched omelet. "I'll go lie down." In the room, I paced like a caged animal. My phone vibrated. Message from Myra. Meet me at the bar at 3. We need to talk. I didn't respond, but at 3 o'clock I was already at the bar, ordering my second whiskey and soda. Starting without me? Myra slid onto the adjacent stool. She smelled of coconut oil and something floral. Bad idea to drink in this heat. What do you want? To talk about last night. We have nothing to talk about. I downed the whiskey in one gulp. It was a mistake. A mistake? She laughed bitterly. Then why are you still trembling when I touch you? Her hand fell on my knee. I recoiled so sharply I nearly fell off the stool. Stop it! What are you doing? The same thing you are. Going crazy. She lowered her voice. I can't stop thinking about you. About your hands. Your lips. Shut up! I looked around, but the bar was empty. Don't you understand? We betrayed Lisa, your daughter. Have you considered that maybe for the first time in my life I'm thinking about myself? About my desires? At the cost of your own daughter's happiness? Don't act holy. Myra moved closer. You want me. Right now. She was right, and that only made it worse. Even now, after everything, my body was treacherously responding to her proximity. This madness has to stop. I stood up. We'll never be alone again. No private conversations. No hints. Nothing. You really think you can pretend? That you can sleep with her without thinking of me? Stop it! Everything all right? Lisa's voice sounded like thunder in clear sky. She stood in the bar doorway looking from me to her mother. I heard shouting. Oh, we were just arguing about politics. Myra laughed carelessly. Your husband is such a conservative. Yeah, right. I tried to smile. I'm going for a swim. As I left, I felt two gazes on me. One worried, the other burning. The day had only begun, and I already didn't know how to survive it. The next 3 days turned into sophisticated torture. Every breakfast, every dinner, every minute by the pool became a battlefield where glances and accidental touches were weapons. Honey, pass Mom the salt, Lisa asked at dinner. Our fingers touched for a split second, and a treacherous shiver ran through my body. Myra deliberately held her hand longer, her nails lightly scratching my palm. Josh has been so distracted lately, she commented with an innocent smile. Maybe he's having an affair? Lisa laughed, not suspecting how close to the truth her mother had come. Oh, Mom, you know Josh. He doesn't even look at other women. Really? Myra raised an eyebrow. I think there's a lot unexpected hidden in him. I excused myself and left the table. I felt sick. In the restaurant bathroom, I washed my face with cold water for a long time, trying to compose myself. The mirror reflected a stranger's face, gaunt, with dark circles under the eyes. You look awful. Myra appeared behind me silently like a ghost. Conscience bothering you? Are you crazy? This is the men's room. So what? She leaned against the wall, crossing her arms. Afraid someone will come in? Or afraid of yourself? Get out. Not until we talk, she stepped forward. I can't take it anymore, Josh. These games of happy family, it's killing me. What did you expect? I turned sharply to face her. What would happen after that night? That we'd run away together? Start a new life? Why not? Her eyes glittered feverishly. We could... What could we? Destroy Lisa's family? Become a couple built on betrayal? Is that what you want? I want you... She stepped even closer. And you want me. Nothing else matters. It does matter. I grabbed her shoulders. Damn it, Myra, you're her mother. How can you... She silenced me with a kiss. Fierce, desperate, tasting of wine and salty tears. I responded, hating myself for each second of weakness. What's going on here? We jumped apart. An elderly man stood in the doorway looking at us with a mixture of shock and disgust. Sorry, Myra mumbled, fixing her lipstick. I got the bathrooms mixed up. She slipped out the door, leaving me alone with the stranger's condemning gaze. Young man, he said, shaking his head. I saw you with your wife by the pool. She's a beautiful girl. I know. Then what the hell are you doing? Good question. I'd been asking myself the same thing every minute of the past few days. Returning to the table, I found that Lisa had ordered dessert for all of us. Chocolate fondant, your favorite, she smiled. Mom said she wasn't feeling well, went to her room. Maybe we should check on her? I was surprised by the falseness of my own voice. No, she sent a message. Wants to be alone. Lisa pushed the plate toward me. You know, I'm so glad we came together. It seems like you and Mom are finally getting along. The chocolate sauce spread across the plate like black blood. I stared at it, unable to lift my eyes to my wife. Yes, the words scraped my throat. Finally! In our room, I stood in the shower for a long time until Lisa knocked on the door. Honey, are you sick? No, coming out now. Okay. You know, I was thinking, maybe we could have a romantic evening. Order champagne? I pressed my forehead against the cool tiles. Water ran down my face, mixing with silent tears. Of course, darling. Whatever you want. That night I made love to my wife, desperately trying not to think of another woman. Of wet skin, salty from seawater. Of wild, unrestrained moans. Of the sin whose taste I would never be able to forget. As she fell asleep, Lisa whispered, I love you so much. I remained silent, feeling the darkness within growing deeper. The decision came suddenly like a lightning strike. I watched Lisa getting ready for morning yoga and realized I couldn't live with the lie anymore. We need to talk. The words escaped on their own. Of course, honey. She was fastening her sports top. After class? No, now. Something in my voice made her freeze. She turned slowly, and I saw fear shadow her eyes. What's wrong? I opened my mouth, but at that moment there was a knock at the door. Mira stood there in a white beach dress. Good morning, lovebirds. I was just... She broke off, sensing the tension in the room. Come in, Mom. Lisa's voice trembled. Josh was just about to tell us something. No, I better... Come in, I almost shouted. You need to hear this too. Mira closed the door and leaned against it. Her face went pale. Josh, don't, she whispered. I have to. I clenched my fist so hard my nails dug into my palms. Lisa, I slept with your husband, Mira suddenly said. The silence that followed these words rang like broken glass. What? Lisa laughed nervously. Is this some kind of joke? 4 nights ago, on the beach, Mira spoke calmly as if reading a weather forecast. I was swimming naked. He came. It just happened. Shut up! I stepped toward her. Don't you dare speak about it like that. How should I speak about it? She lifted her chin. That it was passion, love, destiny. You both? Lisa sank onto the bed. You've both gone mad. Darling? Mira stepped toward her daughter. Don't touch me, Lisa recoiled. God, how long has this been going on? Just once. I dropped to my knees before her. I swear just that night. And the kiss in the bathroom, Mira added. Let's be completely honest. Mom, why? Lisa raised tear-filled eyes to her. Why do you always take everything I love? What? First Dad's money, then stepdad's attention. Now Josh. I didn't, Mira faltered. I didn't mean to. Yes, you did. Lisa jumped up. You always wanted this. To prove you're better, more desirable, younger, that you can get any man. Lisa, listen. I tried to take her hand. And you, she turned to me. I believed in you. Defended you when she said you weren't good enough for me. And all this time, no, not all this time, I love you. Love me? She laughed bitterly. Then why does my mother know the taste of your kisses? There was a knock at the door. Room service. Get out, Lisa shouted. All of you get out. Daughter, Mira stepped forward. Forgive me. I was lonely, broken after the divorce. Oh, shut up. Lisa grabbed a vase and threw it against the wall. Shards scattered like spray. You weren't lonely. You were selfish, as always. Another knock at the door, more insistent. Ma'am, we've received noise complaints. Lisa, I stood between her and her mother. Let's just talk, calmly. Calmly? She laughed. And there was madness in that laughter. My husband seduced my mother on the beach, and I should be calm? The door opened. The hotel manager stood there with security. I'm sorry, but we received complaints. Everything's fine, Myra forced a smile. Family argument. We're leaving now. Yes, leave. Lisa sank onto the bed. Both of you leave, and don't come back. Lisa, please. Out. Myra and I went out into the corridor. The lock clicked behind us. What now? She asked quietly. I looked at the woman for whom I'd destroyed my marriage and felt only emptiness. Now? I laughed bitterly. Now we reap what we've sown. 3 months passed. Autumn in Minneapolis turned out cold and rainy, as if nature was mourning my sins. After returning from vacation, I rented a small apartment on the outskirts of town. Lisa filed for divorce. Did you really think I could forgive? She asked during the meeting with lawyers. Gaunt, with lifeless eyes, she seemed a shadow of her former self. I hoped, I answered honestly. You know what's worst? She looked out the window, avoiding my gaze. I lost not only a husband, but also a mother. She calls every day, but I just can't hear her voice. Myra tried to contact me too. Dozens of missed calls, messages I didn't read. One day she appeared at my office. We need to talk. She looked exhausted, her usually impeccable makeup smeared. We have nothing to discuss. Josh, I love you. She grabbed my hand. What was between us? It wasn't just passion. No, Myra. I carefully freed my hand. It was madness, a moment of weakness. Nothing more. Liar! She raised her voice, attracting passers-by's attention. You felt the same thing I did. This connection, this attraction. I felt lust. The words were cruel but necessary. And now I'm paying for it every day. Tears appeared in her eyes. So that's how it is? I was just a mistake? We both were a mistake. That same evening, Lisa called. Mom's in the hospital, overdose of sleeping pills. I felt the ground disappear from under my feet. Is she alive? The housekeeper found her. Doctors say it was an attention-seeking attempt, not a real desire to die. Will you visit her? The pause was long. Yes, she is my mother after all. A week later, I met them in a cafe near the hospital. They sat at a table holding hands and crying. I wanted to leave, but Lisa noticed me. Will you join us? Her voice was tired but not angry. I don't think that's a good idea. Just sit, Josh. Myra looked pale in her hospital pajamas under her coat. We all need to talk. The conversation was long and painful. We talked about betrayal, forgiveness, about how one night can change life forever. I started seeing a therapist, Myra said. Turns out I've spent my whole life competing with my daughter for men's attention, trying to prove to myself that I'm still desirable. And I, Lisa squeezed my hand, realized I can't hate you forever. It's destroying me from the inside. What does that mean? I was afraid to believe what I was hearing. It means I'm ready to, not forgive, no, but let go. Move forward. We all need to move forward. Myra wiped her tears. Separately, I looked at these two women, my ex-wife and her mother, and for the first time in a long while felt something like peace. We all made mistakes. We all paid for them. A year later, I met Sarah. She worked as a child psychologist and had the most beautiful smile in the world. When I told her my story, she was silent for a long time. You know what I think? She finally said. Sometimes we have to hit rock bottom to understand who we really are. Lisa got married last spring. I saw photos on Facebook. She was radiant with happiness. Myra was at the wedding, sober and calm. They say she started writing a book about complicated mother-daughter relationships. Sometimes, looking at the ocean, I remember that moonlit night. But now this memory doesn't stir my blood. It reminds me how easy it is to lose yourself in a moment of passion, and how hard it is to piece yourself back together after falling. They say time heals all wounds. I'm not sure that's true. Some scars remain forever, but maybe they're what make us stronger, wiser, more human. Sarah is expecting a child. It's going to be a girl. When she asked why I went pale hearing the ultrasound results, I just hugged her tighter. I will be the best father for my daughter. And every day I will remember that love isn't passion under the stars, but a quiet choice we make every morning. Did you like this story? Let us know in the comments what you liked. Subscribe to our storytelling podcast. Also, don't forget to like and ring the bell so you don't miss more interesting stories. See you soon.